Hey, everybody, stand by, please. We're finishing up a few of our last minute technical items here, so stand by for me, please. See if we can get all of our panelists on board here, quick. Stand by, everybody. We're a few minutes early. We're going to start right at 1 o'clock, so just stand by for a moment. There you are.
Okay, now I can see you. I don't know why the other one was not working.
Yeah, the panelist link is always a little different on here, but we're broadcasting live now, so just kind of stand by. And I'm not exactly sure why it does that. The panelist link sometimes is different, and I don't know. They don't have a lot of support for it anymore. Stand by, everybody. We've got a few folks joining us on the line a couple of minutes early here, so please stand by. We're going to kick off in about 3 minutes, so we'll sort of kick off in earnest then. All right, stand by, everybody. We're going to be kicking off in about 2 minutes. Let me check something. Hang on 1 second, everybody.
That was pretty quick. See what you look like.
Oh, I see you're on the browser too. Okay. Weird.
Hmm.
Hey, everybody, stand by. We're going to be kicking off in about 1 more minute here, so just hang on for a second. I think we have most of our technical questions solved here, so just hang on a few seconds. Welcome, everybody. We'll be kicking off in about a minute here, so please stand by with us while everybody gets logged in. Check our audio stream here too. Yeah, sounds good. We're broadcasting. All right, welcome everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. Toby Milroy here, Vice President for AMS, and welcome to our sort of bonus AMS Members Webinar today. We have a lot to talk about. We have some really interesting and exciting results from our iEnroll program that I wanted to make sure that all of our AMS members are in the loop on, and you understand what's going on, and you get a sense and a chance to sort of take a look, sort of preview this thing, preview the results that we're getting with schools all over the country right now. Joining me today is our AMS senior advisor, Sean Lee. So Sean is here. Thanks so much for popping on with us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
I like the switching thing. That's pretty cool. Unfortunately, Senior Master Kirk Pelt, who was meant to be on the call with us today as well, wasn't able to make it. He was called away for a bit of a crisis he has to deal with. So we wish him well. He'll be fine, but he had to deal with a couple of things. Unfortunately, at the last minute, he wasn't able to make it. So I do have an email and a fax from him outlining the results that we wanted to talk about today. So I can sort of give you a sense of what that's looking like from his perspective as well today. So really quick, two quick things, Sean, before we jump in here. One is, again, this is sort of like a bonus webinar. We'll still do our second Tuesday of the month webinar as we typically do. This was sort of I don't want to say an emergency, but sort of an impromptu quick session to sort of share what have been somewhat surprising results of our now 17-month test, 16-month test of the iEnroll process and the iEnroll system. So we're going to be walking through that today as briefly and as quickly as we can. In the process, I wanted to mention two things real quick. I'd like you to go over to iEnrollstudents.com/seminar. If you can see that on my page, on my machine right now, on my screen, iEnrollstudents.com/seminar. This website isn't even finished yet. I'm just giving everybody sort of an early heads up on it. You can actually still register, though. You can register here on the site, and I'd like you to do that. This is an outline of a full-day event here in Orlando, Florida at AMS headquarters, where we want to reveal to you and walk you through all the logistics of the iEnroll system and the iEnroll program and what it can do and how it works for your school. Now, this event is only for AMS school operators, for Atlas users and AMS members. Jeff we were talking to our group downstairs, and he said something I think pretty important, which is, we like to take care of our family first, right? And this AMS only event is designed for school operators who are, AMS clients, school operators only. This isn't appropriate for staff, but this is where we'll have an entire day to be able to walk you through all the logistics of the iEnroll process, exactly how it's going to work A to Z for your school, the types of media that we're using, how we're using social, how we're using automation, how we're using sites, how we're doing all these steps for you so that you can see, sort of behind the curtain and see how this process is working. But I'd say go ahead and get yourself registered for that event right away. It's going to be Saturday, July 21st. Down here in Orlando, Florida, at AMS headquarters. Orlando is kind of an easy place to fly into from pretty much anywhere in the country. We're gonna start at 9 a.m. and we typically run pretty late into the afternoon. This event for the first 50 AMS members we're going to pay for the tuition for you, right? It's typically $297, but for the first 50 AMS members and Atlas users, we'll pick up the cost of the tuition. We'll even buy you lunch and all that. All you have to do is make a refundable seat reservation deposit of $49. So you're gonna put $49 on your card, and we're gonna refund that $49 to you immediately when you show up here at AMS headquarters. And this is just so that we can. The size of our ballroom here at AMS headquarters is limited. We can't fit hundreds of members, so we have to make sure that. If we set a seat aside for you, that we're pretty confident that you're going to be able to consume that seat. So it's absolutely free for the first 50 Atlas users or AMS members. We do require a seat reservation deposit that will be immediately and cheerfully refunded to you that day. So I'd like you to scroll down the page and fill this form out. This is sort of your seat reservation, and then you'll be passed off to where you can actually pay for the reservation fee. So I'd like you to take a look at that. That's iEnrollstudents.com/seminar. So having said all that, let's sort of jump into that specific topic for the day. Our fundamental purpose today is to sort of walk you through some of the real, proven results that we're getting right now with the iEnroll system. Here's sort of the genesis of this. Rewind about 4 or 5 years ago when social media and the media market started to sort of shift its paradigm, shift its focus, right? And if you were to rewind a few years more, if you were to rewind maybe even 10 years, marketing was a broadcast media, right? Marketing done poorly was about just blasting your message out there to as many human beings as you possibly could. And then some small percentage of those people will be stimulated, right? They'll be interested enough to pick up the phone and give you a call. Okay. So I'm talking about things like radio advertising, television advertising, direct mail, even things like the Yellow Pages, right? Where, people had, the Yellow Pages was a little different. They had an interest already and they came looking for you. But blasting broadcast media pretty much died, 6-7 years ago. And in part because of the internet, in part because of cable companies and other mass media options for people, right? Like there's so many people nowadays that don't even have cable television, right? Not because they don't have the means or they don't have the money or the income to be able to afford cable, but because there's so many other options. Cord cutters are, cable is losing subscribers by the millions, and services like Netflix and Hulu and these types of services are all but replacing the entire paradigm of television, right? Radio's gone through the same thing with XM and satellite radio stations, podcasts and videocasts and things like that. People consume media much differently now. And advertising effectiveness on these media platforms has radically changed over the last few years. So we've all seen this coming in the martial arts. We've all seen this. We've seen the rise of social couponing sites and things like Groupon and Living Social. And nothing has quite yet really fit how martial arts school operators work well. Martial arts schools work well, right? Things like Groupon and Living Social were a great idea because it allowed people to, allowed you to sort of get in front of people that you ordinarily weren't able to get in front of. But there were some really evil sides too. There were some real downsides. And the people that, unfortunately for martial arts, which tend to be like a premium service, right? We tend to be somewhat higher priced and have longer student longevity and things like that. Groupon just hasn't been a great fit for, right? Things like that. Living Social, these social couponing sites tend to drive a lot of traffic, but somewhat relatively low quality traffic, right? Unqualified shoppers, people who are looking for deals. That's been a premise for a long time. The problem with deal sites is it attracts people who are looking for a deal, right? Again, fine to drive traffic, but it tends to be a little low quality. So there's been sort of this ebb and flow. And we've all been watching social media so carefully and so closely over the last 5, 6, 7 years, but it hadn't quite matured yet, right? It hadn't quite gotten to a level where we could attract the right quality of a customer. We could get them to go through a funnel that was qualifying enough that we knew that they were interested in what we do and they were ready to be a student. Well, fundamentally, this has shifted over the last 3 or 4 years, 2 or 3 years. Facebook has done some joint venture deals with data compilers, people that can tell you about demographic and psychographic data outside of Facebook, right, in the platform. Facebook's own internal data set is so much richer now than it ever has been. And all of these things sort of conspired together to create an enormous opportunity that unfortunately is pretty technical, right? But this opportunity has to do with how we can target people on social and how we can then push them through a funnel, push them through a process that creates pretty high quality prospects, right? So here's the genesis of this concept. What we've been doing behind the scenes over here for 16, 17 months now is testing a brand new approach to impacting and attracting traffic, impacting and attracting prospects by social media and 7 other traffic sources, many other traffic sources, but mostly online, and attracting them in a unique way, and then forcing them through a funnel of barriers and obstacles that pre-qualifies them, right? And we've been honing and refining this approach for the last 16 or 17 months now. And I'm really excited to announce, and this is sort of the first time we've talked about this openly with our with our members, I'm really excited to announce the results are very surprising, very unexpected, and potentially earth-changing, world-changing for school operators in the martial arts industry. And again, we take care of our family first. So we want to make sure that you are loyal and supportive AMS members and Atlas users, the people who have been so great and supportive of us, helping us develop great software and great services. We want to make sure that you have the opportunity to take advantage of this system first, right? Before, the guy down the street or the guy in the next town over. So let me walk you through sort of what we've been doing. So we took a sample of 20 martial arts schools, 20 schools that we have great relationships with and that are spread out. Spread out geographically across the country, from the West Coast to the East Coast, from the north to all the way down here in Florida, all the way to the south. We chose schools in demographics that are very different. Right. We have a couple of schools that are in, and Sean, you can attest to this as we talked about the other day. We have some schools that are in immensely dense population. Think New York City, right? Think Flushing, New York, right? Also schools in rural middle America, right? In towns where the total surrounding population is 5,000 or 6,000 or 8,000 people, right? Also, we've specifically chosen some schools that are that execute the after-school program, right? The transported after-school model, and schools that don't operate the after-school program. Some schools that are focused on adult students, right? Who are focused on attracting adults in their school almost solely, right? But adults primarily. And then other schools that are focused on the kids and family market, right? So we wanted to get a really good data set. We wanted to get, unfortunately, there are some folks in our industry that think that they get a system to work really well in downtown Manhattan. And now all of a sudden that's going to work everywhere. Right. And unfortunately, that just couldn't be further from the truth. Right. For many, many, many years, I've been helping school operators grow their business, and the tools and tactics and strategies and belief systems that work in, LA are very different than what you're going to see in Paducah, Kentucky, or what you're going to see in, Dubuque, Iowa, or, these different demographics require different attention. So anyway, my point is, we took a sample of 20 schools, and for about 15 months, tested and tuned and tweaked these approaches. And these approaches essentially look like this. We're targeting specific groups of people, specific categories of people, based on their interest, based on their demographics, based on their psychographics, based on geography, based on a lot of criterion. And then we're taking that traffic and we're pushing it through some very technically sophisticated web response mechanisms. So these folks are interested in martial arts, they're interested in training in your school. And in addition to that, they've also taken some steps to indicate to you that not only are they interested, but they want to be in a long-term program. They want to be in a real martial arts program, right? Mm-hmm. They're not just opting in on a website for a free report. Now, that's a perfectly legitimate strategy, but that's a pretty flaky lead, right? They're not just opting in on a website in order to watch a video or something like that, right? Again, all of those are totally legitimate strategies, but the quality of the prospect that we're dealing with now, the quality that we've been able to generate through the system is really unbelievable, really, really, really useful. I have a weird character on my screen from you, Sean. That's kind of strange. I don't know. I'm not sure what that was. It just kind of popped up. I've never seen that before. Does that make sense? So over these 16 months, we've been testing the ads and the ad targeting that has been working and not working. So we've gone through right now. I did the math the other day. Right now, currently, we're running more than 600 different permutations of these tests, right? And we're very surprised at the things that we find. One ad that we think is great won't do anything. And then another ad that we see and it's like, I'm not so sure. I don't think it's going to be all that good. In one area, it just kills it. It just goes gangbusters. And in another area, it doesn't work very well at all, right? So we were looking for the formula in the ads. And what we found was we have to be very, very hypersensitive to the ad and the specific area, right? So we're iterating every day, multiple times a day, through these different ad options that we have so that we can target your market specifically, right? We're not trying to paint with a broad brush. Again, what works in Manhattan is very different than what works in Iowa, right? So we're very focused on iterating through those samples, those tests every day, right? So over those 20 months, we've made a lot of discoveries. And what we found was in some schools, we have immediate success with the strategies. In some schools, it takes us a few weeks to figure out that area, to figure out that demographic, to figure out the interests of those people, of the people in those areas that are best targeted to our specific client, to our specific prospects, right? So there's a lot of pieces of this, and I want to walk you through a lot of what we've been accomplishing and the things that we've learned over these past few months. But let me walk you through a couple of results really quickly here. In the 20 school test, okay, over 16 months, we've had again, these are from little rural demographics all the way up to suburban, highly affluent demographics. The lowest test that we've had has added $6,000 a month to their school, right? Of the 20 schools, the lowest test, and this is in a somewhat rural area. Let me look here, 13, that's 10,008. So they're in a somewhat small area. They were in 1,400 square feet, a very small school, right? And they added $6,000 a month to their gross revenue. The upper test, the upper limit of the test that we've had so far, again, just in 16 months, is a school in suburban Virginia. So think DC suburbs, right? Added $30,384 a month to their gross, right? Now, in all of these samplings, the trend is still upward, right? We're still adding new students to those schools every month, right? And so their gross is continuing to grow. But as of right now today, as of this morning at 9:30 this morning, the lowest sample that we have so far is added $6,000 a month to their school. The highest sample so far added $30,384 to their school so far. So far the results, in my view, are almost unbelievable. If I didn't see the numbers myself, if I didn't see the revenue myself in their systems, I can look at their systems behind the scenes here, I wouldn't have believed it. Now, along the way, we've learned some really interesting things, right? One of the things that we learned, Sean, I think you can speak to this pretty well. Sean, by the way, is sort of leading the implementation of these systems for our school operators. So Sean interfaces with our iEnroll clients on a daily basis in some cases multiple times a day, especially early on while we're getting everything set up for everybody. Sean, we've been kind of surprised about when we're seeing some of this traffic, right?
We get a lot of opt-ins like in the mid, like 12 a.m. and 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning on Friday, Saturday, which is like those days the school's not operating. So, even they are like our prospect, if they are interested, they can call the school or, even they shoot the email, they have to wait another like a day or until like Monday morning to get response from the school. But this is really interesting. People doesn't sleep. They opting in like searching all the social media and opting in like 3 in the morning, like 5 in the morning. And we get a lot of opt-in from those hours. That's something like really interesting.
Yeah, and trends of days too. Like we were a little surprised about that. In some cases, again, this is different in different areas, but we're seeing what days are we seeing producing the best results?
Usually like Friday night, like 9, 10 the afternoon, and Saturday in the morning and the afternoon, which is like, as I mentioned earlier, those hours are like schools are not operating. So that's exactly right. What we're kind of seeing is a lot of what we're seeing obviously mirrors internet traffic trends anyway, and people, obviously they're not on the internet mostly when they're sleeping, but when they wake up in the morning, they get to work and they check in, right? They get to work and they log on to their computer at work, right? And then go check all their email and look around on the internet, right? And then there's usually a lull in the middle of the day. And then when people get home from work,
they get dinner ready, get the kids off to bed, all that sort of stuff. And then they're back online, 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the evening. And we're seeing tremendous spikes in traffic, tremendous spikes in response, 10 o'clock in the evening, 11 o'clock in the evening, 12 o'clock. About 2 weeks ago, we actually had a seminar here in Orlando. And 2 weeks ago, just one school got like 6 appointments between 10 o'clock and 3 o'clock, 3:50 in the morning was the latest one. So from 10 o'clock to 3:50 in the morning, people were able to impact people with these messages. So let me drill in a little bit and make sure that we're clear about some phraseology and some things like that. What we're focused on with the iEnroll process is driving highly targeted, highly qualified people through a system, through a funnel, through a process where we're delivering people to your school who have the financial means to afford, what we're doing, right? But also have the desire and have taken some significant steps to request a program, to request lessons. And here's why I wanted to push into this. There are a lot of ways to capture leads on your website, right? There are a lot of, bribes. I call them bribes all the time. A lot of different offers that you may want to experiment on your website. You may want to promote a report on anti-bullying, or a report on how to defend yourself better, a report on how to become more fit and, lose weight, things like that. And all those are great, perfectly legitimate strategies. I use them all the time, every day. But the quality of the opt-in, the quality of the prospect is typically, a fair bit lower. What we're talking about with the iEnroll system is totally different, completely different. Now, the folks who are coming to you now, number one, we've already targeted them by their current interests. They've already expressed some interest in the past of martial arts training, those types of things. The second is they've already said, by responding to a specific type of advertising that we do, or a series of specific types of advertising that we do, they've already said that they want to train in martial arts. Right? Not that they're interested in anti-bullying, not that they're interested in more confidence. Of course they do. Of course they are. But that they specifically want to train in your school. And then third, we push them through yet another funnel, another set of processes where they now have set up a specific appointment, an appointment time that you've made available in your martial arts school for them to come in and do their first lesson. Right? So again, these aren't flaky opt-ins. These aren't flaky Groupon leads. These aren't flaky, people who requested some free bonus or something like that. Again, perfectly legitimate strategies, but these are much higher quality, much higher qualified, and we're the first to crack. We've cracked this code, right? These are much better prospects. What we're seeing in these 20 test schools is the best enrollment ratio. This is from the people who show up to actually signing up, is in the high 80% range. It's like 87.5%. The lowest enrollment ratio that we're seeing is high 60, 68%. So almost 70%, right? I mean, that's amazing. If you look at something like a Groupon lead, you could have 100 Groupon leads. You might enroll 2 or 3. That's 2 or 3%, right? Now we're looking at something like 60, 70, 80% of these folks are enrolling. Let me expand on that just a little bit. These folks come to you pre-selected and pre-qualified, ready to enroll, right? You almost have to do something wrong to get these guys to not enroll, right? This isn't kind of a sneaky sale, right? This isn't kind of a sneaky enrollment or sneaky trial, right? Where somebody's coming in just because they want to do martial arts for 2 weeks and quit, or they want to come in and do martial arts for 6 weeks and quit. That's not their intent at all. And we've already sort of weeded out those, right? Does an odd one slip into the bucket occasionally? Maybe, right? But we've already done a lot of work to help weed that out for you. So these folks are coming to you predisposed to wanting to enroll in your long-term program. Does that make sense? So it's a critical difference. It's a critical difference in approach and paradigm that we're seeing with this process compared to anything else we've seen, not only in the industry, but that we've experimented with here specifically, right? Does that make sense? So I do actually have on the bottom of this page, I haven't mentioned it yet, but on the bottom of this page, there is a little chat area. So if you do have specific questions about anything we're describing today, you can put a little post down there, and you can, and I'll take a look back at that, throughout our time today. And if anything pops up in there, I'll be sure to address it in order. I think we're having a little streaming issue on the video, to tell you the truth. Give me just a second. Let me see if I can fix that. So making sense? So those are some big lessons that we've learned along the way. Another big lesson that we've learned along the way, unfortunately for Sean and his team, is that being able to keep costs as low as humanly possible. We're super, super focused on optimizing everything that we're doing every day, in fact, multiple times a day. And an example of that is, I don't have one sitting in front of me, but an example of that is when we look at the media, the content that we're using, the ads that we're using in this process. One image, one ad that we think is beautiful and we love it, right? We'll put out into the field and we watch every day, multiple times a day. Sean's team checks into the traffic and checks into these campaigns. And we take a look at exactly what's happening. And if a specific ad for some reason or a specific mechanism for some reason isn't performing optimally, we'll make adjustments every day. In fact, in some cases, between 2 and 6 times a day. So one of the things that we learned was, it's pretty easy to set up campaigns and let them run, right? But that really wastes a ton of money. And it's suboptimal by a lot. And what we found is we've been able to reduce the costs of driving traffic into a martial arts school radically compared to where we were when we started all this stuff. When we started with just basically, creating a campaign and letting it run and see what happens and make some adjustments once a week or whatever, we've been able to reduce the costs of that stuff by 50-fold, right? So now we're able to drive a new student, a new trial lesson recipient into the school for sometimes as low as $9 or $10, right? Not per click, per person coming to your school, right? And in some cases, $18, $20, $30, $35, $40, but still a huge, huge improvement over what everybody else in our industry and everybody outside of our industry, frankly, is doing on social. Does that make sense? Sean, have you seen what kind of, you've seen a lot of this directly. Describe maybe the labor intensity that you and your team are executing as you're looking at these campaigns.
So I cannot reveal the whole specific formulas, numbers, but what I can say is we've been testing, as Master Milroy mentioned at the beginning, last 16 to 17 months. We were trying to find a best formula to optimize our budget for daily, monthly, weekly. So our team and me and my teams will always be on it, as I said, 2 to 6 times a day. So we don't want to waste the money, for no traffic. So we've been optimizing and replacing the ad. And, all those ads are really we made it for psychologically it makes sense to the people, grab the attention from the people. Whenever they see it, they want them to click it, find out more, and then although many of the social media these days, there are regulation and restriction about putting the ad getting really, really strict, right? And we are following the rules and we are following and not following to get the best result. That sometimes go around if I know our own formula and apply on there, that helps a lot to bring the traffic. And many people spending as Master Milroy mentioned, some of the school they're paying for $9, $7 per appointment, and they're getting those appointments sometimes 40 per month, kind of that. Those things make huge difference between what many people what we used to do, just setting up the campaign, running for 2 weeks, spending $200, $250 easily. You see that many people saw it, but you don't know who opted in and who's from the where, those things.
Yeah, that's exactly right. This is a radically different approach to this stuff. And unfortunately, this has required a massive amount of labor. And, right now we have 23 full-time employees, 23 people who support the iEnroll process. Sean leads the team of folks who deals with all of the fundamental stuff, right? And we have 23 human beings who contribute to this process. It's been incredibly labor intensive, incredibly costly, but the results that we're getting are fantastic. So let's talk about that a little bit. There are hugely labor intensive processes that happen here. And one of the things that I've been doing for about 16 years is I've been helping school operators learn how to do things like this, how to execute fundamentally effective marketing strategies in their business, how to execute great websites that are able to capture those leads and do something with them, how to execute wonderful automation marketing campaigns that happen behind the scenes that help inspire people to get to the school, things like that. For 16 years, I've been helping school operators learn these systems and implement them in their school with great results, right? But one of the things I've learned over time is that it's very technical work and it's very hard. And most school operators, you've got too much going on, right? You have too much to do every day to have to worry about this. We're testing right now 600 different permutations. We're testing different fonts on web pages. We're testing different color schemes. We're testing different videos. We're testing different splash pages, different header sizes. I mean, we're testing so many variables right now that in order for a single school or even a multi-school organization to be able to do that, we have more than 20 full-time employees who are working on this all the time. So it's really a huge benefit, I think, to our industry to be able to plug into this rather than having to try to replicate all this yourself, right? So having said that, let's look at some real results. I'm not sure if this is going to show up on the camera well. Let's see. Oh, it does. Okay, so these are all the iEnroll appointments. Again, not prospects, not just leads, not just opt-ins. These are appointments, people who have set up a specific appointment. They've expressed interest in what you do. They've expressed interest in enrolling in your program, and they've set a specific appointment up to come and talk to you about it, right? To come and see what the program is all about for themselves. This is a new client, Masters, right? They just started how long have they been a client, Sean?
Not even a week.
Okay, not even a week. And this is just today. Just today, we have 3 new appointments. One was at 11:20 a.m., one was at 11:30 a.m., and one was at 12:32 a.m. So there's one, let's do 1, 2, 3 for him. Okay, great. Quans, Marshall. Okay, these guys are in 020. Where are they? Utah?
New Jersey.
In New Jersey. Okay, these guys are in New Jersey. They have a new appointment today at 10:33 a.m. So again, probably before the school was open. Lehigh, and this is in Philadelphia. So 10:24 a.m. and 10:50 a.m. Okay, so again, both probably before the schools were even open. MAUSA. 3 today?
Texas.
3 today in Texas? 3 today in Texas. 3 of these in Texas. So this was at 8:17 a.m., 8:11 a.m., and 7:52 a.m. So all within like a brief period.
So probably their time, it was at like 7 o'clock in the morning?
Well, that's right. Central time, right? Yeah, this is Eastern on my phone. So yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Oh, Lehigh again. Philadelphia again, 3 more. This was, I can't see it. It's hard to see. Okay, 5:05 p.m., fine. 1:56 p.m. Let's see here. View details. Where's view details? 8:57 p.m. So again, almost 9 o'clock at night, these guys. And this is all from just the last 24 hours. United. 2 for another client, United. That is
New Jersey.
New Jersey, 2:02 p.m. So they might have been getting to the school by then. 3:50 p.m. Might have been there. Okay, no problem. World Martial Art. These guys are Utah. These guys. One at 2:37 p.m. All right, so not bad. Revolutionary. This is down here in Florida, south side of Florida, small area, Venice, Florida. 2:06 p.m. Another guy. So anyway, point is, just for the last 24 hours, let me do a quick total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so at least 20 without having to scroll too many times. At least 20 new appointments for a small subset of our iEnroll clients just in the last 20 hours or so. So the types of results that we're getting on this thing are truly exceptional. And I mean that. Like, I've been in this industry a long time. I've run a lot of I ran martial arts schools for a very long time, very successfully. And I've never seen the ability, we've never had the ability to attract the quantity and the quality of prospect into our school that we do now for anywhere near the cost, right? I ran numbers. We'll talk about this actually at the seminar here in Orlando. I ran numbers on 13 and a half years worth of statistics in my own martial arts schools. And most months I was paying, $280 to $320 per student, per enrollment to enroll students by mass media. And this is, again, a fraction of a cost, a tenth of the cost, less than a tenth of the cost to be able to drive more traffic into the school. So as I said, what I need you to do right now is go over to that website. Let me share my screen again. Go over to iEnrollstudents.com/seminar and fill that form out on the page. Again, the seminar for the first 50 school operators, the first 50 members, it's absolutely free. We're not going to charge you $1. I do need you to put down $49 to reserve your seat, though, right? We'll refund that immediately when you show up here on site. But I need to make sure that you're serious. I can't reserve one of our very few seats in our ballroom here at headquarters. I only have so many I can fill. So I need to make sure that that you're going to be there. When you fill this form out, you hit reserve. One of our team members here will give you a buzz. We'll set up a time for you to be able to, walk through any questions that you might have. Also, you'll head over to the host hotel, and we have a group rate here at the Residence Inn right across the street from our headquarters. You can, book your hotel and things like that there at a discounted rate. So that'll be very useful for you. Let's walk through a few of the things that we're going to be talking about while we're here. One is this: Grandmaster YK Kim has really spearheaded this project here at AMS. And he's going to be describing what we talked about today, how you can generate 10 to 35 new enrollments in your school. He's going to walk you through all the logistics of the iEnroll system and answer any questions that you might have about that. He's going to show you exactly dollar per dollar, student per student, the results that we've been getting in these 20 test schools. And again, I'm telling you, it's very impressive. From $6,000 a month to $30,384 per month growth in each of these test schools. I'm going to be walking you through how we can finally, in our industry, how we can finally, using this process, build a real brand for you and your school, give you the ability to set yourself apart from the competition and be able to, as I did in my schools for many, many, many years, be double or more priced, if you choose, than the nearest competitor in your town and still have more students. And I've proven this for more than 16 years. And I'm going to show you how this system will help you accomplish that. Senior Master Kirk Pelt will be describing, and again, in his firsthand knowledge, he's been one of the test beds for this system, how you can finally now bring adult students back into your school. One of the things that we've accomplished with the iEnroll process is we have the ability to target the market, and we're able to now attract adults back into our school. And this is essentially important if you want your school to have longevity, right? If you want your school to exist for not 5 years or 10 years, but 30, 40, 50, 60 years or more, you have to have instructors, right? You've got to be able to develop staff in your school. And although we all love the 15 to 17-year-old, 15 to 20-year-old, instructors that we can help bring up from child to, maturity and great instructorship, we need adults as well, right? We need people who can, expand our school as their career, perhaps open multiple locations, perhaps even franchise or expand into an organization, right? We need high quality adults to be able to do that. And finally, we're now able to bring those adults back into our classrooms. And then again, Sean Lee, the director of the iEnroll system, our senior advisor here, will be walking you through how you can double and triple your school. And again, this is more than just, advertising on social, right? This is a comprehensive system of multiple traffic sources, driving through multiple funnels, driving through multiple web pages, being pre-qualified, sorted, and sifted, and driven to you as someone who's now set up an appointment, right? So again, just 4 of our examples here. Again, this website isn't finished yet, but just 4 of our examples here have accomplished incredible things with the iEnroll system so far. And I'm really excited to show you dollar for dollar proven results of this program when you get down to Orlando, Florida. So please, again, iEnrollStudents.com/seminar. There's so many details of this process. We can't possibly accomplish it today in 30 or 40 minutes. I really need you to understand all the logistics and how we can help you accomplish these results in your school as well, right? So let's take just a breath here for a moment. Actually, let me move that. That'll give you a weird infinity screen. Any specific questions about this? Feel free to pop any questions that you might have in this little chat area at the bottom of the screen. I'd be happy to answer those, after we get off the call. And this is, again, just to reiterate a couple things. This event here at AMS headquarters is for school operators only. It's not appropriate for staff. If your spouse or a business partner, key decision makers in your business, you want them to be here, right? Staff members really won't have anything to benefit or to gain from this opportunity. But certainly you, your spouse or a key business partner. And we really want to be able to walk you through all the details of the iEnroll system so that you can make a smart, informed decision. Once again, we take care of our family first. We want you to be able to benefit from this process before anybody else in your area, right? We absolutely want to make sure, we absolutely want to help you all first, the folks who have been so supportive of us. We want to add $10,000, $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 a month to your gross, right? Before we go help, the guy down the road or the guy in the town over do the same thing. So our belief is we're going to be able to bring tens of thousands, if not millions of students back into the martial arts industry. And we're going to do this one school at a time, right? And we want to help you first. So get to iEnrollStudents.com/seminar. Get yourself registered. Then we'll get you on the phone with one of our team here, and then we'll walk you through all the logistics and get that seat reserved for you. All right? Sean, anything you might add to that, or does that sound pretty comprehensive?
No, I don't want to add anything, but one thing I want to say, I would love to see you guys at the seminar. So, yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes we, sometimes the guys, the team here, we get to speak with martial arts school operators, our clients, all day long on the phone.
Yeah.
Sorry?
We speak with the school operators on daily basis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We interact so frequently, and then you finally get to put a face to the name. It's very useful for you. So we'd love to see everybody down here in Orlando. We're really excited about what we've been able to accomplish so far with the system. And I'm really excited about what the future looks like for not only the iEnroll system, but our industry in general. We now have the ability to create a branding effort, a branding sort of the tide that lifts all boats, right? Where now we can target the market in such a way that we don't have to pay the media companies crazy amounts of money to be able to get in front of, like we used to have to do with television and radio. We can now pinpoint target our market. And now we're able to, since we're doing it all, right, for the school, I may have forgot to mention that, in the iEnroll process, we do everything. We handle 100% of the labor, 100%, right? We're handling all of the media buys, the ads, the management, the posts, the web pages, building pages, testing pages, forms, videos, we handle everything. You get basically the text message or the email on your phone that says, hey, John Smith is coming in today at 3. Teach him a great lesson, right? That's what you've got to do. What you have to do is teach him a great lesson and enroll him. We're handling everything else. And again, this is what I've been trying so hard over 16 years to help school operators learn these skills, learn these talents. But you know what the truth is? You shouldn't be doing any of it. If you can teach a great lesson and enroll students, we can handle the rest for you, right? For the first time ever. So we're really excited about that. So thanks everybody so much for joining us. Again, if you have any questions or comments, please put them into the chat area down below this video. I guess that'd be that way, down below this video. And I look forward to seeing you here in Orlando in a couple of weeks. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.